wait, where in the world is the lighter?
You have it. You grabbed it. It was green.
Shaw, we're good, brah. We got the lighter, man.
Good deal.
We got it.
Got the firewood back here. Man, I'm gonna have to brighten this sucker up so hard. You guys carry. I will film. There we go. It is the biggest bonfire you will ever see. So I do this in video games all the time, which means I'm a master.
Struggling over there.
I am not. This wood is so dry. Oh my gosh.
I don't think you broke it. Okay.
Yeah.
There it is.
Wood. Wait, we're not ready yet.
Camera lady.
Yes.
Oh!
Nice. Dang.
That will not be good.
Woo! That was impressive. So no need for the flashlight anymore. That's going away. It was very impressive.
Those holes? That's
crap.
what the bees like hibernate.
Say hi, Jenna. Don't show Grandma this video, alright? Just shove it in my mouth, ready?
What about
The whole thing. Oh.
Good to know.
especially when you do starburst? You stick starburst on it, just like eat it.
So good.
Roast starburst. That's weird. Wouldn't it melt?
Yes, it feels.
This is southern Utah. It's pretty crazy, guys. Like, this is what it looks like outside. I'm actually terrified of coming across a rattlesnake. Yeah, I'm actually terrified. I'm going back to the fire. Whoa, there comes Seth.
You got Jenna. You got Jenna. I got me.
That's cute. So there's this guy, right? And he worked late for a whole week, every single night. And as he was walking home from work, one day, there's this beautiful, big Victorian-style house. And he hears this beautiful music coming from it, right? And this is on Monday. And he's like, oh, that's interesting. And he goes by it and goes home. And then the next night, you know, same thing. He's walking home from work late through the woods. There's this giant Victorian house, and he hears the same music. And he stops for a second and then keeps going. And then the next day, he gets curious as he still hears the same music coming from this gigantic house. So he actually walks up towards the house, and he looks through the keyhole, and he sees this beautiful ballerina dancing right in the hallway to the music. And he's like, all right, well, that's weird, you know? And he's kind of almost mesmerized a little bit by this dancing woman. And he goes back, right? The next day, he's walking down the road and the same music is playing. And he goes up to the keyhole to look to see if he can see the ballerina again. But all he sees through the keyhole is just bright red, nothing else. And he looks for like a good couple seconds and then it's like, oh, what weird, and he keeps going, right? He goes home. And so the next day, same thing. He goes up to the door and it's just bright red, except for a moment it goes dark. And then there's bright red again, right? And so on the last day, the day after that, he actually approaches somebody at work and he tells them about this ballerina. He said, the most weirdest thing happened. I was walking down the road and this beautiful ballerina was dancing in this Victorian house. And the coworker's like, oh. And the coworker's like, oh, you've never heard about the ballerina with the bright red eyes?
Oh my god.
Oh, I just realized that.
Oh wait, the black was her blinking?
That, yeah, exactly. When he looked through the keyhole, she was looking back with her bright red eyes. So actually, yeah, so I heard this. I was on the way back from North Carolina. We were doing a high adventure down there at Sea Base. And my young men's leader was with a priest in the front, and I was in the back. And I was actually asleep, but not asleep. Like, I was sort of awake listening to their conversation a little bit. And Brother Call told this story that he'd heard from his brother, who served his mission down in the Four Corners, like, I think, New Mexico, Utah, Arizona, and Colorado, yeah. And that place is known for some really whack stuff, you know, from, like, again, voodoo magic and the Indians doing stuff. And so they would have these weird things happen. But it was kind of similar to what happened to Granddad. They were these missionaries, and they were driving at, like, it was almost time for them to go in. It was like I think it was like 9:45 or so. They were driving down the road in this sort of like pickup truck sort of thing, except it had sort of a rack on the back and a bunch of stuff piled up. It was their truck that they had, and they were driving not that fast down this dirt road in the middle of the desert. They basically heard something, and then all of a sudden a torch went on, and there was a man that looked like he wasn't wearing much, but seemed kind of like he had a lot of hair, like on his head. They didn't see any on his body or anything, but just on his head, right? And his face seemed like strangely shaped, but like he seemed to be completely hairless below his head, and he was running next to them, right? Like full speed. And
As fast as their car?
yeah, as fast as their car. They weren't driving too fast. They were driving like 25 miles an hour or so. And this guy was running up next to them with this torch, right? And so they speed up a little bit, and they're like, what the heck? That's weird. And they speed up. They're like, go, 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 go. And so they go faster, right? And they're going like 45 miles an hour or so. And down this dirt road, which is pretty fast, actually. And they see the torch, and it gains on them, and it keeps coming and coming, and the guy shows up again in their side view mirror, right? And he's running way faster than any human should be able to run, right? And so they thought maybe their speedometer was broken or something, and they freaked out, and they sped up again and left him in the dust, right? And then a couple minutes later, or maybe like 45 seconds later or so, they see the torch disappear and then go out, right? But then they hear something, and they turn and look out. Woo! They turn.
I was gonna do that. I gotta lie to you.
You good, you got me. They turn and look out the side view mirror, and they hear something. They hear and they look out the window, and the man is there, and he's keeping up with the car, but this time he's on all fours and the torch is out. And so after that, they just freak. They slam the pedal to the metal and take off, and they never had anything like that happen again. But it scared them so bad that they were both transferred out of the area to cities.
I know that they were on bikes.
Oh.
Yeah. No.
That's a different story. Okay. Alright. Next time we do this, we're gonna have to
Come earlier, yeah.
know some good stories, you know?
Yeah.
Look them all up.
We'll look some good ones up. We need to make sure this thing is completely out.
Yeah, this is good.
Wow, that's super cool. Yeah?
Yeah, it's a cabin. Everybody in?
Oh yeah.